Oh God, Dane.
I love job and class systems in RPGs. Choice is one of the crowning achievements of this genre, and in my opinion, there is no better choice for a player to make than for their hero to be a pirate ninja, or maybe a werewolf mage. Well, you get the picture. Today I've compiled 10 of the most broken jobs and classes in video games. Now, here are the rules. A class or job system needs to be present in the title, and a player must be able to choose between them. This rules out class systems like the one present in Stella Deus. Also, I tried to look for jobs and classes that are specifically broken, not just the game itself. If you're into this kind of stuff, why don't you consider subscribing? Also, if you would like to request your own list, click on the link in the description and check my perks for Patreon members. Now, without further ado, I give you the top 10 broken jobs in RPGs. Number 10. In the original Trials of Mana, there was a spell glitch that allowed players to bypass the cast time. Because of this, Angela became the strongest character in the game. Her only problem stemmed from MP management and how squishy she was. In the remake, almost all of these issues were addressed, leaving Angela not only the best character in the game, but the most broken as well. Now, which class is most broken on her is a tricky question. It's really a toss-up between Runeseer and Magus, but in the end, I chose the Magus class. Magus isn't only Angela's best-looking class overall, it's also the class that learns the single best AoE spell, Ancient Curse. Different abilities and exploits, which cut the cost of mana or allow Angela to regain MP easily, make her a spell-spamming machine. Once you have the Obsidian Power Chain ability, Angela can infinitely spam Ancient Curse. This just straight up makes everything in this game, including the final boss, an absolute cakewalk. And although this isn't class specific, thanks to the remake's new dodge mechanic, avoiding damage is much easier, making Angela's squishiness a moot point. Number 9. An unspoken rule for most RPG class systems is that if the class is called Hero, it's a broken class. Case in point, Ichiban's default class in Yakuza Like a Dragon. There's really nothing this class can't do. First, it's an awesome support with the ability to buff the attack of your entire party, or revive fallen party members for a small amount of MP. Second, it's a damaging machine. In boss battles, Ichiban's hero class's Bat Breaker moves absolutely obliterate them. Against mobs, Mega Swing can easily take out an entire group, making him insanely useful in random encounters. To sweeten the deal even further, Ichiban's final weapon, the legendary Hero's Bat, has an electric aura. Electric Aura is so broken in the first title that it was nerfed in subsequent ones. With the combination of Bat Breaker skills and the Electric Bat, Ichiban will deliver the highest possible damage in the game. Overall, if you're wanting to build Ichiban optimally, then stick with his very first class, Hero. Number 8. The next class on this list is... Alright, I want everyone to know that everything I'm about to say is real. I didn't make any of this up, and this may be the strangest section of a script I have ever written. In South Park, The Stick of Truth, you can choose between 4 jobs: the fighter, the mage, the thief, and
a Jew from New Jersey. So you're basically Cal's mom, sure.
The Jew class is by far the most broken class in this title. The only other class that even comes close is the thief. The main reason for this is the Jew's ability to inflict the absolutely busted status ailment Bleed. That and the fact that the Jew gets kosher. That and the fact that the Jew gets kosher damage against the Nazis, which dominate the second half of this title. The Jew's true devastation is summed up by their skill, Circumscythe. Yes, Circumscythe. Circumscythe is the single best move in the game. It ignores armor, does massive damage, and inflicts bleed, leaving your enemy low on HP, crippled, and slowly bleeding out. Throw on mob-wiping moves like Dreidel and the ability to buff other party members, and you have what I think was intentionally a laughably broken class. Number 7. Mass Effect is known for having some broken classes to choose from. A fully geared soldier in any of the games becomes a tanking, damaging, dealing explosion. But looking across the entire trilogy, no class was as broken as the Adept in the first title. This mainly comes down to 2 things. One is stasis and the ability to damage enemies while in this state, and the recharge oversight in the first game that let the Adept pop off moves before their previous attacks ended, allowing you to chain stasis and essentially soft-locking every enemy in the game. Throw on a bevy of additional broken skills like Barrier and Singularity, and you have a overpowered class. Not only is it advised to make Shepard an Adept, but if you bring along Liara and Kaden, you have an endless supply of biotics to choose from. The Adept broke the first Mass Effect wide open and had to be nerfed in its sequels, which is a shame. Number 6. Final Fantasy X2 dubs its classes as dress spheres, and allows the player to equip a certain amount to each of their 3 heroines. Now, I could probably have chosen nearly half the classes in this game for this list. Classes like the Dark Knight, Thief, Mascot, or Berserker would have fit quite nicely in the number 6 slot. I paused when I got to the Psychic. This class with its elemental absorption abilities makes it practically invincible, but I couldn't overlook one of the greatest developer oversights in video game history for this list. The Gunner, in the original and HD remaster, has a multi-hit ability called Happy Trigger. Now, Happy Trigger in itself is a pretty awesome ability, and players will find it useful for dishing out damage. But in the original title for the PS2, one could acquire the broken accessory Catnip, which made every equipable player's attack hit the damage cap of 9999. Where the oversight comes in is that developers obviously forgot that Happy Trigger hits dozens of times, and when combined with the Catnip accessory, becomes an instant win button. Not only did they nerf the Gunner in the HD remaster, but they threw on a Berserk debuff for anyone equipping Catnip, essentially breaking the usage of the accessory, which is a shame. There have been exploits found in the HD remaster, but it doesn't even begin to hit anywhere near the OG Gunner's damage. If you're playing Final Fantasy X2 on the PS2, then the Gunner is by far the best class in the game. Number 5. Raiden Odyssey is full of exploitable classes, some with good artwork. But going back to the OG title, one of the craziest decisions I've ever seen in a video game was to make the medic one of your best damage dealers. I'm not kidding here. Referred to as the combat medic, the medic's passive that boosts his attack is the highest in the game. Once it's fully leveled, your medic will gain a 3x boost to its attack. Throw on a maxed out Caduceus skill and you have a support unit that outperforms your frontliners. This passive was nerfed in subsequent titles, but remains in the HD remaster. The HD remaster also improved the medic's support abilities on top of all that. Healing Touch now acts as a full party heal at level 3 instead of a 40% heal at level 10. And I would be remiss not to bring up the medic's Immunize skill that, if fully buffed, reduces all damage by 60%. Boosted, this resistance can reach 85%, making your team nigh unkillable. Overall, the Raiden Odyssey medic may be the single greatest healer in RPG history. Number 4. Final Fantasy V is well-tread territory when it comes to breaking RPGs. For years, players have been busting this title wide open, and in those years of abuse, no class has stood more as a busted mess than the Chemist. Final Fantasy V's Chemist is without doubt the most ridiculously overpowered class in the mainline series. The Chemist mechanic is mixing 2 items together to create a specific outcome. This can be damage, healing, support, debuffs. Really, it does everything imaginable. In the mid-game, by simply mixing Maiden's Kiss and Turtle Shell, both common drops, you get a guaranteed 15,000 plus attack when all the other classes are struggling to break 500. Lamia's Kiss damages MP, making magic-dependent bosses a joke. Towards the endgame, if you can manage to get Dark Matter, you have the instant win button Death Potion, which works on most enemies and many of the bosses. Dragon Defense makes your party members practically unkillable, and Dragon's Kiss is the single most broken combination in the game, pretty much allowing you to wipe any boss off the map. I could go on, but I think you get the picture. The Chemist is an absolutely busted class that not even the developers realize its true potential. Number 3. Sometimes, a job's broken nature comes from how powerful it is compared to the power curve of the game. Others, it's just straight up amazing skills. But Bravely Default's Spirit Master is broken because of how much it exploits the battle system. Skills like Fairy Ward, which blocks statuses, allowing you to enjoy all the benefits of the Dark Knight without consequence. Or Enigma, which makes elemental attacks from the enemies useless. But if you really want to know how bad this class exploits this title, you need look no further than the skill Stillness. All that is required here is that your character is faster than the enemy. If that is accomplished, then Stillness will softlock all enemies, including bosses, into being unable to attack. As long as you have that speed, which can be obtained via the Performer and Freelancer abilities, there isn't a single boss that can stand up to you. Number 2. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 took the formula of the previous 3 games and built a robust class system that has hundreds of different combinations, many of them game-breaking. But without hesitation, I can say that this Signifer is without doubt the best class not only in the game, but in the entire franchise. Signifer on paper is a support buffer, What it actually evolves into, though, is a win every battle switch. Signifer's class can produce random buffs which it can pass on to the rest of the party. Now, buffs like increased attack or defense are great, but where this class starts to really get busted is its ability to pass power charge to the party. This buff dramatically increases the damage of your next attack. The Signifer's ability to push power charge onto party members constantly just straight up breaks the combat. Oh, not quite convinced? Okay. Well, what if you apply the Troubadour's talent art, which stalls the buff timer, allowing applied buffs to stay on your party long past their expiration date? If Raiden Odyssey's medic is the single best RPG healer, this Signifer is the single best buffer in RPG history. Number 1. Magic users have always been a mixed bag. Most RPGs either hamstring their magic users, hampering their potential, or make them so exploitable that the game simply gives up. That is the case for the calculator, or arithmetician in Final Fantasy Tactics. Now before you say anything, let me clarify. Yes, classes like the Monk, Mimic, and Ninja are incredibly abusable as well. And yes, the calculator alone isn't enough to break the game. But the math skill mixed with the White Mage and equipped with the Holy Elemental Absorption armor makes for one of the single most broken classes in all of RPGs. Being able to simultaneously destroy every enemy on the field free of MP and with no charge time, while completely healing yourself, is non-negotiable. And there you have it, the top 10 most broken classes or jobs in RPGs. This was a fun list to compile and I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you to all my Patreon members for their support, and if you'd like to request your own list, click on the link below and join today. Also, if you enjoy PS2 era RPGs, check out my series where I play through all 160 titles. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you all later.